They say the night hides more than shadows. It hides the truth.
Welcome to Mr. Haunting Whispers, where real crimes, true horrors, and restless spirits speak through the silence. Listen closely, because sometimes the whispers are real.
They say that when you dream, your brain is simply sorting memories. Fragments of thought replaying in random order, like a projector stuck on loop. But what if it's not your mind doing the dreaming? What if you're just being used by something else? Something that needs you to close your eyes so it can open its own? I used to work nights. Long hours, quiet shifts. The kind of job that warps your sense of time until sunrise and sunset mean nothing. When I finally did get home, I'd collapse into bed sometime around 7 or 8 a.m., draw the blinds and fall into a kind of artificial darkness. For a while, I started noticing something strange about my sleep. Not nightmares, not at first, but a pattern. Every night, I'd wake up exactly once, around 10:46 a.m., always the same time. Always the same feeling, like I'd just come back from somewhere far away, somewhere I shouldn't have gone. Then I started remembering pieces of it. At first, it was just sounds. Low voices echoing through a tunnel, the scrape of something heavy being dragged across the floor. Then images, a massive room with walls that looked like wet stone, a ceiling that pulsed faintly as though it were breathing, and eyes, hundreds of them, blinking in the dark. I tried telling myself it was just the exhaustion, a side effect of bad sleep cycles. But when I started seeing things while awake, I knew it was something else. The first time it happened, I was brushing my teeth, half asleep, staring at my own reflection. And then, just for a moment, the mirror lagged. My reflection kept brushing for a fraction of a second after I stopped. I blinked, leaned closer, and my reflection smiled. I dropped the toothbrush, stumbled backward, and when I looked again, everything was normal. After that, I started leaving the lights on when I slept. Didn't help, because the dreams got worse. Now every time I closed my eyes, I saw the same place. A cavern made of flesh and shadow. Something was breathing behind the walls. Slow, deliberate, aware. And each time I woke, I felt more drained, like it was taking something from me. It got to the point where I stopped sleeping entirely. 3-4 days awake, my mind buzzing, heart skipping beats. But when I finally passed out on the couch, it wasn't like falling asleep. It was like being pulled under. This time I wasn't in the cavern. I was standing in my bedroom. Everything looked normal. The desk, the curtains, the faint hum of the fridge in the next room. But there was a man standing by my bed. He was completely still, his back turned to me. And I knew somehow that he wasn't part of the dream, he was watching it. Watching me. When he turned, I realized I couldn't see his face. It wasn't blurred or hidden. It just wasn't there. Like a blank patch in the air where a face should be. He tilted his head slightly as though studying me. Then he said in a voice that didn't come from his mouth but from everywhere at once, "You're not supposed to be awake yet." And then I was sitting upright on the couch, gasping, drenched in sweat. The clock read 10:46. That's when I noticed something new on my wrist. 3 small dots, perfectly spaced in a triangle. Not bruises, not burns, but something beneath the skin, faintly glowing when the light hit just right. I scrubbed at them until my arm was raw. They didn't fade. Since then, every time I sleep, I go back. Sometimes I see the man again. Sometimes I see the walls moving, shapes shifting, eyes opening one by one until the darkness itself seems to breathe around me. And sometimes I feel it lean close. A voice whispering behind my ear. Do you ever wonder which of us is dreaming? I wake up seconds later, heart racing. The clock always says 10:46, and each morning the 3 dots on my wrist glow a little brighter, I stopped telling people about it after my coworker, the only one I confided in, quit without warning. He left a note taped to my locker. It said, "I saw them too. Don't go back to sleep." I tried staying awake for 2 full days again. Didn't work. My eyes burned, my thoughts blurred, and when I finally blinked, I was there, in the cavern, surrounded by those hundreds of eyes, all fixed on me. The man without a face stepped forward. "You've been chosen," he said. "We all dream something into being, and now something dreams you." When I woke, my nose was bleeding. My phone said 10:46, and on my wrist, beneath the 3 dots, I could see something faintly pulsing, like a heartbeat that didn't belong to me. I don't know how much longer I can stay awake, but I think I've finally figured it out. We don't dream when we sleep. We wake up, and what we call nightmares are just the things that remember us. So if you're hearing this before you go to bed tonight, try not to dream too deeply, because something might be waiting for you on the other side of your eyes. It's been 1 year since my wife Claire passed away. Even saying those words still feels unreal, like I'm describing a scene from someone else's life. Some nights I still reach out to her side of the bed before I remember she's gone. The sheets are always cold. After the funeral, I stopped sleeping properly. The house felt too quiet without her. The hum of the refrigerator, the creak of the floorboards, even the sound of rain hitting the windows. All of it felt louder somehow, like the silence itself was pressing down on me. The first time I dreamed of her, it didn't feel like a dream at all. She was standing at the edge of the bed, wearing the same gray sweater she used to fall asleep in. Her hair fell the same way across her shoulders. Even the way she breathed, slow, careful, steady, was exactly as I remembered. She smiled soft, familiar, and then she said, "You shouldn't be awake right now." I tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come. My body felt heavy, the air thick. She leaned forward and brushed her hand against my cheek, and for a moment, I could feel her warmth. The same warmth I'd missed for a year. When I woke up, I could still smell her shampoo. Her sweater was folded neatly on the nightstand. I told myself it had to be grief, that maybe my mind was conjuring her up because it didn't know how to let her go. But the next night she came again, and the night after that, always at the same time, 3:17 a.m., always with the same words. "You shouldn't be awake right now." After a week, I started keeping track. I wrote everything down. What she said, what she wore, even the faint reflection of her shape in the window. It was always consistent, too consistent for a dream. Then things started to change. One night she wasn't alone. Behind her in the doorway, I could see someone else. Just a shape at first. Then a figure, tall, featureless, motionless, watching. When I tried to move, Claire shook her head slowly. Her voice was softer this time. "Don't look at him." Then she leaned forward and kissed my forehead. Something she used to do before bed every night, except this time, her lips were ice cold. When I woke up, I could still feel the cold lingering on my skin. Over the next few nights, she spoke less and less. Sometimes she just stood there, her expression blank, her head tilted slightly like she was listening to something far away. Once she whispered, "They don't like when I stay too long." I wanted to ask her who they were, but before I could, she faded. Not like a ghost disappearing, but like a photograph burning away from the edges inward. After that, I stopped sleeping altogether. For 2 days, I stayed awake, drinking coffee, pacing the halls, waiting for 3:17. But when the hour came, even though I was wide awake, I still saw her. She was standing at the window this time, outside the glass, staring in at me. The porch light flickered behind her. Her hair drifted slightly in the breeze, but her eyes, they didn't move. They were locked on mine. And for the first time, I realized they weren't her eyes at all. They were completely black. She raised one hand and placed it against the glass. Her voice came through like a whisper carried by the wind. "You have to sleep, Daniel. It's the only way I can stay." The next thing I remember is waking up on the floor by the window. Hours later, the glass was warm where her hand had been. Since then, I've been sleeping more. Longer, deeper, harder to wake from. Every night she's there, and every night the figure behind her stands a little closer. Sometimes I think I can hear it breathing. Sometimes I think I can hear it whispering my name. I know I should stop. I know I should stay awake, but each time she comes, she looks more real. Her voice softer, her skin warmer, her touch stronger. She tells me she's almost back, that I just need to sleep one more time and I will. Tonight. Because I can't live without her anymore. If I don't wake up tomorrow, don't call it dying. Call it going home. Because when I close my eyes tonight, she'll be there, waiting to wake me, and this time I won't fight it. We all dream of the ones we've lost, but sometimes they dream of us too. Sleep. It's supposed to be the one place we're safe, where the world fades and our minds can finally rest. But what if sleep isn't a refuge? What if it's a doorway? Every night we surrender our bodies, close our eyes, slow our hearts, and drift into the dark, trusting that we'll wake again. But maybe somewhere in the stillness between those heartbeats, something else wakes instead. Something that remembers us. Something that watches. The people you met tonight, the dreamers, the watchers, the haunted, they've all touched that edge between worlds. And if you listen carefully, if you let the dark settle just right around you, you might hear them too, whispering from the other side of your eyelids. Sleep well tonight, but if you feel eyes on you when you dream, don't open them.
You've been listening to Mr. Haunting Whispers, where every truth leaves a scar. If the story unsettled you, good. That means you were listening. Subscribe and stay close to the dark, because the next whisper might be for you.